Greetings, comrades. This is Andre Ades Desjardins with a Theros Beyond Death Cragapath. Alright, you're going to be a good one. I can tell. We got a Satyr token and a Plains. So, first up, Sentinelize. It's all 1 mana enchantment aura. Enchant creature gets +1/+1 in his vigilance. And it escapes for a white and exile 2 other cards from your graveyard. This is actually a fine deck. Most of the white decks are either aggro-ish or trying to get through with flyers. This helps with both. White doesn't have a lot of great things to do with escape, and this is a very serviceable thing. If you're having a heroic deck, the hero deck, it helps as a repeating trigger for that. It's still probably a C+ in the hero decks and just a C everywhere else. I'm not looking to first pick this, though. Alright, Riptide Turtle is 1 blue, 1 colorless for a Flash Defender 05. He is a thick-bottomed boy. Most of the blue decks are defensive in nature, so this is fine. It's a C for the deck. The fact it's Flash adds a little bit of value. You can surprise block something. I'm sad he has Defender, though, because he can't even go on the offense with, silliness, but whatever. Alright, Stampede Rider is 1 red, 2 colorless for a 2/3 trample, and at the beginning of each combat, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, gets +1/+1 until end of turn. This is a C. It's obviously meant for the red-white power 4 or greater decks, and it's a fine serviceable card there. Nothing super, though. Completely playable. Temple Thief is 1 black, 1 colorless for a 2/2. It can't be blocked by enchanted creatures or enchantment creatures, which is a lot in this set. It's C. It's playable. Attacks fairly well. You don't always want to attack in black decks. The second toughness means it lives through, Mogis' favor, and then people really don't want to spend another removal spell on this thing. So it's fine, it's playable. These all seem pretty interchangeable. Alright, Sentient Training is 1 green, 1 colorless for Enchantment Aura. The creature you control, when it enters the battlefield, draw a card, and it has +1/+0 and has Trample. Giving green creatures trample is very important in this format. The fact this replaces itself when it enters the battlefield bumps it up. Those two things bump it up to a C+ for me. It's what I'm first picking out of this pack. Notice it is a creature you control, so you want to be sure you have lots of creatures. You can't cycle this on an opponent's creatures like some other things, but giving green creatures trample in this format can be very important, and I'm taking it over all these other cards. Alright, Venomous Hero Path is 1 black, 3 colorless for a Gargon Cleric, and it's 3/3 with Death Touch, and when it enters the battlefield, put the top 3 cards of your lever into your graveyard. This is a C+, I put it on the same level as this. The 3/3 Death Touch is nice as it trades with, most things. It helps enable your escape creatures, but it's not nearly the best black common at all. But I put it at the same level of Sense and Training. Alright, Bronze Sword. 1 colorless mana, equip creature gets +2/+0, and equip for 3 colorless mana. Generally, I don't play this card. There are certainly some decks where, if you make a bunch of tokens or you have a lot of high toughness creatures, this can help see play because it makes them more of a combat threat, harder to block, or it makes the tokens into actual threats. But just with all the Constellation and, it doesn't trigger heroic for that deck, it's definitely worse in this format than it would be in other formats. So I'm going to give it a C-. I wouldn't take it over any of these cards, but it will sometimes get into your deck. Alright, Satyr's Cunning is 1 red for a sorcery, and it's make a 1/1 Satyr token with this creature can't block, and it escapes for a red 2 colors and exile 2 other cards from your graveyards. This is obviously supposed to be a common enabler for the sacrifice deck to give you lots of sacrifice fodder. The problem is that deck is red-black, and the black escape cards are just way better than this, and the sacrifice deck doesn't come together all that often. The red-black deck is usually more of an attrition deck. It gets aggro, and then it will use the 1/3 that you can sack a creature to drain an opponent for 1 to just finish the last 3 or 4 points of damage off. So this is like a D. Like, this card, I like the design, I like the idea of it, but it just doesn't line up well. Alright, Hero of the Pride is 1 white, 1 colors for 2/2, and it's hero. All the creatures with hero have a semi-heroic thing where when you cast a spell that targets the creature you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. If you're in the red-white heroic deck, this is the most important card in the deck. It's 2/2 for 2 with that ability. For first picking, I'm going to put it on the same level as these. I'm not sure which one I would first pick. The last few drafts I found I've been getting the aggro deck, so I might take this, but I'm not looking to first pick any of these cards. I'm spending the time on comments to talk about the different type of decks, but that is the most important card for the red-white heroic decks. Alright, Chain to Memory is 1 blue, target creature gets -4/-0 until end of turn, and Scry 2. This is like the Hydra Pump effects, which I generally don't like. It does share the nice thing from the Ravnica block that it cost 1 in Scries, where the Ravnica block costs Dazzling Lights costs 1 in Surveilled. But I haven't seen this see much play in the format. I think it's just something the format doesn't line up to. You know, generally I don't like to start these cards, and I don't think this one is particularly good in the format, so I'm going to give it a D. It may occasionally sneak into your deck. One thing I would say is you can look to sideboard it in for like some blue-red decks that want to block a lot, but it's hard. It's not. I don't think it's a good format for this card, and I don't think it's a great effect to begin with. Alright, we're on the uncommons, and we have Acolyte of Affliction, which is 2 colors, a black and a green. When it enters the battlefield, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then you can return a permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. I think this is the best uncommon in the set, and the fact it's 2 colors is not going to deter me from taking it. It strongly enables the escape theme. The fact it returns a permanent means, you know, if you're in a green-white deck and you splash for this, you can get back a Dreadful Apathy or something. This is far and above the best card in this pack, and I'm going to take it. I think it's a B- for a first pick, and if you're in that deck, it is a B+. It is a great card. So all you, get out. Let's see if we can topple Acolyte of Affliction. It's not going to be with Impending Doom. That is 1 red, 2 colors, enchantment or enchant creature gets +3/+3 and attacks each combat of Fable. And when enchant creature dies and deals 3 damage to that creature's controller. This can be put on your opponent's creatures to force them to attack, so you can block and kill it, and then it'll deal 3 damage. With the +3/+3, that's really hard. Like, that is a big bump to the creature. It's not like you can put it on some utility creature and then, you know, block it with your 3/4. Like, the creature's going to be bigger than that. So you're generally going to put it on your creature. It's fine. It's very all-in. I think I would generally prefer some instant combat trick or a Wrapped in Flames for the heroic deck. Iona's Blessing is better than this card, like much better than this card. This is like a D. I'm not looking to play this card. It can be very powerful. I've lost to this card, but generally I'm not looking to play this card. Ooh, we have a contender, Nessian Hornbeetle. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control another creature with power 4 or greater, put a +1/+1 counter on Nessian Hornbeetle. This is more than just the red-green 4 power greater deck. 2/2 for 2 is perfectly serviceable. The fact the green has the Chimera 4/1 for 3 at common is great. A lot of your green-black decks just run Minotaurs and such that have 4 or more power. You know, the Nightmare Horse Charger Escapes has 5 power. This is a very powerful uncommon. I'm going to put it into the mix and see how it's going to tangle with Acolyte of Affliction, because I would consider picking this. I consider it a C+B- card. Alright, Underworld Breach. Well, I'm seeing a lot of this while playing Pioneer. I don't think it's going to make the limited deck. Each non-line card in your graveyard has escape. The escape cost is equal to the card's converted mana cost, and exile 3 other cards from your graveyard. And at the beginning of your end step, you sacrifice Underworld Breach. I mean, in theory, I can see decks where, you have one or two key cards that you really want to escape, and you may do this, but just generally, just the creatures or whatever you have with escape is going to be good enough. I'm going to give this a D. I don't think you're going to play it often. So that leaves us with Acolyte of Affliction and Nexian Hornbeetle. This is hard because I think the Acolyte of Affliction is better, but it's 2 colors. But one of those colors, green, you can splash easily for. Like you can splash black. If you're green blue or green white or something, you can easily splash the black for this. And the thing to return a permanent is so powerful. The Nexian Hornbeetle, this is why I'm going to go back and say why like Sen's Training and the 5/3 that gives all your creatures trample is really important for green, because the Nexian Beetle can get super big by itself, but it doesn't have trample, so it can't punch through. So you need to give things trample. I'm going to first pick the Acolyte of Affliction. I don't know if that's correct, but I think it is just the more powerful card. So we're going to see. Alright, that has been my Crack-A-Packs. Thank you everyone for listening. This is Andre Ages Desjardins signing off.